Welcome to Unashamed and Afraid, a show unashamed about sexual addiction recovery and unafraid of coming into Christ for healing, where we share real recovery stories, learn from experts, and share resources that actually work. So join us in being unashamed and unafraid. Sam, you were quite excited about this episode, which I'm curious about because it's for an all-women's retreat. So if you could just kind of speak into that for me.
I just like Tricia, Jayne, and Beckie. They're just fun to talk to.
So to talk about, so we got my friend Jayne on here. Hi, Jayne.
Hello, Stephen and Sam.
In a official capacity, Jayne, we're partners in our therapeutic coaching practice, Things That Accepted. What makes Jayne an important woman in my life is she is kind of an adopted grandparent to Ivy and Porter, my two children, a role which she does incredibly well and am blessed to have in my life. And then we have our friend Beckie here.
Oh, am I supposed to?
That's where you talk. So on the podcast, people know it's your voice. Yeah.
Got it. Hi, it's me.
So, also a voice. Jayne has been on the past where she's a member of the Unashamed team as well. So, Jayne and I have like a quadruple relationship, not a dual relationship. Quad 5, 10,000 relationship. Beckie as well. Say hi. Sorry, Beckie, I screwed that up. Beckie.
That's fine. We can still be friends. Hi.
We did it this time. Okay, so Beckie.
We did it.
So
Nailed it.
Becky's an experience. If you meet Beckie, you know, in a good way. I mean that in a good way.
That's what he just said out of his mouth.
I did.
For all
I actually think if there
is that wrong,
if there's
Sam?
one person on this planet that has more energy than Steven Shields, it's Beckie.
Thank you. So no, Beckie, we roll deep. So Beckie, we're also partners in the therapy practice at Accepted and things. But Beckie, the role that of sister and friend is a bigger role in my life. And let's just say I have a lot riding on Beckie's current romantic relationship.
Accurate.
Very accurate, and hope for good things to happen in the future, as
you and me both.
That would put us very close together.
Yeah.
I'll leave people wondering. Send me an email if you want the tea or the lore, as the kids say, and I will fill you in on that piece of juicy gossip.
Nice.
And my friend Tricia, calling from South Provo, as her husband calls it, in the great land of Gilbert/Mesa, Arizona.
Yep. Hi, Steve. Hi.
And just one of the coolest women I know. And one of the recoveries I honor the most in just living and doing the things. And we have the connected relationship in that Tricia wants to get her husband, Corey, to do a bunch of things, who is in charge of our scholarships for Unashamed. So she wants to get Corey to do things. And I have the magical power of being able to get Corey to do things.
That is
so together we make a good combination.
You do.
So despite the many relationships and things we do, including shout out to Jayne and Tricia, who just ran a half marathon week before us recording this, both posting a sub 5-minute mile. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Serious,
Real
guys?
deal. Of course I'm not
No.
serious.
No.
That's crazy.
Like, what?
Anyone who runs like that
Sam is like,
For 13
are
miles.
you kidding me right now?
It was a full-on sprint.
That is impressive.
No,
would have been impressive.
I mean, shout out to those people who really run like that. I don't think you're human beings because I think it's not physically possible, but yet you do it. So anyways, addictions of different kinds, Sam.
Right.
Addictions of different kinds.
Right. Some healthy,
But
some not.
yes. So, but we are here to talk about what has been a fun project that I've been able to be on the inside scenes watching kind of come together, but of the Glory Retreat. So, someone tell me what the Glory Retreat is.
Rock, paper, scissors. Who goes?
Beckie, you're talking. Hit us with it.
The Glory Retreat is an opportunity for women to come and have an experience together where they we'll have 3 days of a deep connection with God, a deep connection with other women who are like-minded and like-hearted, and a deep connection with themselves.
And Beckie, what does glory stand for?
Glory stands for God's love. Am I saying this
No,
right?
I want Jayne to do
Yeah.
it. Jayne does the
Guys.
best job. Jayne,
Yeah.
tell us what glory stands for.
Oh,
Glory
My heart's
stands for
racing.
God's love opens the real you.
So despite being a clever acronym, tell us why that's actually the name.
Why it's actually, that's what we experienced, and that's what we want the women to experience.
Keep going.
I'm like, what do you want? Do you want to know how it came about?
I just want you to speak into, out of everything you could name this, why that name, why that message?
We went over a lot of different things, and glory was the thing that just stood out to all of us.
By the way, Sam, Cloud Cupcake was the runner-up name.
No, it wasn't.
It
And
was,
you
it
know
is,
what?
no,
it
it
was
was
not.
It's still a
yeah.
baller retreat. Sam, you and I should make that one. It'd
Yeah.
be sick. Okay. Anyways, back to
Well,
you,
and
Jayne.
No, you go, Tricia.
I was going to say, I think for me, it resonated because I think I had so much hurt and so much, I think, wounding that I kind of hid who I was. And I think when I came to know God and could really feel his love, it helped me to kind of step into who I was authentically.
Wow.
And so I think that's kind of what we're hoping for women.
So when you guys say God, you're talking about God. I mean, is this? We assume you mean Jesus, but is this non-denominational, or is this LDS, or is this Catholic? I mean, who do you guys invite to come to these things?
So anyone is invited. It doesn't matter where you're at. Glory is non-denominational. It is interfaith. It is no faith. It is journeying. It's exploring. It's for women to connect and to find themselves with whoever or whatever they need to.
So as a listener, I'll go to Beckie on this one. So as what I'm hearing as a listener, real talk, is this?
I won't choke this time.
it-
Mark, set, go.
Well, and I'll try not to sniffle. This is
Okay.
so if I'm hearing this right, that like cut the crap real talk is this is totally a Jesus thing. However, you're not pushy. That's what I'm hearing.
For sure. I think the common denominator that the folks that come have is Christian. Like Jesus is going to be talked about. However it is that you identify God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, higher power, whatever, is totally welcome there. We call that Jesus. We call that God. That's how it is worded. But yes, it's not something that's going to be shoved down your throat. It's something that's going to be offered. And depending on where you are at in your own journey and in your own relationship and in your own connection with God will depend on how much you take in.
And is this like going to replace, because we've talked a lot on the show about church culture and church hurt of men in recovery and those who are betrayed. And so is this a like, this is kind of my new gospel, this is kind of my new church, or is this I just take this and then go back to kind of whatever my religious or non-religious faith walk is? Like, how is this going to fit in my faith journey?
How I would put it is our hope is that it is a supplement to wherever you are. So this is not the meat and potatoes of all the things. This is not a religion. This is not a gospel per se. We do only use the Bible as our text. So there's lots of Christian women's retreats all over the country, some based off of certain books or certain texts or things like that. We decided for us that we felt like the most reliable and the best text to use is the Bible itself. And so that will be used, different versions of the Bible and things of that nature. But our hope is that it supplements wherever you're at in your own religion or your own faith practice or your own spirituality, that this is something that can supplement that, strengthen that, highlight that, take it to the next level, but definitely not a replacement.
That's a good.
So Steve, sorry, Sam, Tricia was the one who really started this movement. And I'm like, Tricia, can you speak into that about what you saw with Corey and what you wanted for yourself?
Yeah, of course. So for me, as I watched my husband step into more community, he had opportunities to go to boot camp. He went up
Sorry,
in
I
Utah.
just got to paint a quick picture because
Yeah,
Corey and Tricia have not yet shared their story on Unashamed, Unafraid for inexplicable and unexcusable reasons. One of my life goals, like if I was dying
yes,
of cancer tomorrow, I would be like, make them record their story. I'm dying. They have
right,
to do it now. But so, and just name all three of you identify as betrayed partners, have experienced betrayal in your life in sexual addiction land. We didn't say at the beginning of the episode,
Correct.
so I think that's worth naming. But so Corey in his recovery walk, Corey, your husband, just to give everyone,
yes,
people who don't, we're just talking because we know you so well, but for people who don't
yes.
know you, okay, back to you.
Yes, in his recovery journey, stepping into meetings and especially boot camp, as he would go to boot camp, and then when we brought it down to Arizona and I was able to volunteer, and I got to see firsthand the experiences that he had with other men, and just to see the authenticity that these men had with each other, the camaraderie, the community that was built around God and around brotherhood and adventure. I think I probably had a bigger experience there than my husband did, just because it was so different than anything I had experienced. And I brought that back, and I wanted this for women. And it became something, not just that experience for him at boot camp, but he was able to bring those relationships back to his real life. Like, these guys go out to lunch, a couple times a week. We get together as couples, and go to dinner. His community is broadened, and the relationships that he's created are so impactful in his life that I really, really want that for women, to be able to step in and have that same community experience.
So it sounds like you guys, obviously, community is a huge part. That was actually one of the things I think you guys wanted to talk about, because that's one of the biggest things that is part of Glory retreats. I'm curious though, how do you do that? How does that start? So Jayne, I guess if you want to answer this question, what happens at a Glory retreat that creates that kind of connection? Because I think everybody craves it. Obviously, it's happening at Warrior Heart. How do you guys do that at Glory?
So at Glory, we kind of base it around the same, I don't know what you call it, like structure as Warrior Heart is, where there are going to be interactive sessions each day. And there's going to be time for
Sorry,
worship
I
music.
don't want to dance around naked with a tin hat on my forehead. What do you mean by interactive?
I'm curious what you mean about interactive.
Because dancing around naked with a tin hat is not my
That
definition
that
of
was
it.
Jaren's thing about boot camp. He's like, the second the tin hats, I'm out.
I'm out.
There are no tin hats. Feel free to bring
There
one if
are
you
no
want, but we don't
dancing
provide them.
naked.
That too.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that one
At
before.
the same time. At the same time. We're not wearing tin hats while we're dancing.
Oh.
Okay,
They're two
Jayne,
different.
go
They're
ahead.
two different experiences, man. Let them talk. I'm just
They
kidding.
are.
Yeah, tell us what you
So,
mean by that.
so we're going to have, well, the work that we do at Accepted is experiential. So we're actually going to involve people in having experiences. So instead of just sitting and being lectured to, which you don't remember everything,
So sorry, I'm going to street talk this. So if I'm someone
street
listening,
talk.
what I should hear you say is it's not boring.
It is not going to be boring at all. I
Okay,
love
that's
the
what I need.
quote by Benjamin Franklin, who says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn."
Hmm.
So, using that, we're going to involve the women to have experiences in these sessions so that they can take them home to their own lives and live this way.
So this is just a weekend retreat where a bunch of women get together and they go learn things and they cry together, but they don't really. There's nothing take homeable, right? Right. This is different because you're having an experience that's teaching you something and you learn it. It goes deeper.
Yes, yes, it
What I
will
think
be
is
in.
also helpful. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
What I think is also helpful to be aware of is the level of experience you have is according to the level of experience you would like to have.
Hmm.
So this isn't a situation of where it's going to be like, nope, you're having an experience whether you want it or not. What you come ready to have, we hope to multiply tenfold, right?
Mhm.
And so it involves this experience, and the way that the presentations go are experiential. How much of that you take in and how much of that you would like to participate in and how much of that you would like to be involved in is entirely up to you to decide. We hope that you lean in a little bit harder than maybe what you would typically do, but in that space, it's not going to be a situation of where we're just pulling everybody up on the stage and you have to
Yeah.
do the thing and all of that.
Right.
It's going to be where you're invited to have whatever level of experience you feel like you're ready to have, willing to have, or whatever. So I hope that kind of like makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would probably
Yeah.
say I would imagine you did say it's there's some things you've taken from Warrior Heart. I'd imagine if it's anything like Warrior Heart, it creates a format where more than that, at any point in your life that feels comfortable to do. So I think women would be able to
Mhm.
look forward to that.
So
I think for me, real quick, Steve,
yeah,
not to interrupt you, but I think for me that community starts with us as the hosts, or people putting on the camp, showing up just authentically, not coming in as like, look at us and our perfect lives and this is what we do, but we've got stories, these are our messy lives, just being able to connect in vulnerable ways, and because everybody has a story, everybody has things that they're struggling with, and I think if I go into that, trying to just be myself, I think it will be easier for other people to connect with, instead of trying to just, I guess, present what I think people are going to want to see from me.
So you guys are pretty real.
well, they're all friends with me.
Totally,
So
bro.
if they were trying to do perfect, they messed that up a long time ago.
Thanks for that.
Becky,
Yes. So I think that what's cool about Glory is that you're going to have the opportunity to experience community in several different ways.
Mhm.
So you can experience community during meals. You can experience community as you're having worship music. You can experience community as you're taking in the experiential presentations. You're going to experience community during adventure time, where we have a bunch of different ways that, and Jayne can maybe speak into a little bit of that, but like a bunch of different ways that you can experience adventure with women. You're going to have community because you're going to be in a room with a bunch of other women that you're, rooming up with. So it gives you a taste test in all of these different ways that you can experience community, so you can figure out what feels best for you and how to move forward in that and how to take that home and replicate it, either with some of the women that you meet there, which is our hope for sure, but also with women back in your community that you're going to enter back into.
Do you guys pray together as well?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm so glad you didn't drop that. That's beautiful. That's like my
It
favorite
is
part of
so
Warrior Heart.
beautiful. Yeah.
so tell us about, I mean, and we'll get more into the spiritual things, and I want to talk about if I'm a betrayed partner, why out of all the things I could be doing, I should come to this. But before getting into that, just like hit me up with kind of all the anxiety things. Like, first up, where the heck is this thing happening? How long is
Mhm.
it? Is it expensive? What, you just said some things that I'm like, what? I'm sleeping in a room with other women. What do you mean meals together? What is, like, uh, give me all the places where I would have anxiety. Like, what give me the logistic sides of what this is.
Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful facility that we get to host it at. It's in Williams, Arizona, just outside of Flagstaff. It's at Lost Canyon, and the campus is incredible.
So
You
I'll give
will,
it an
yeah,
endorsement. So Doug, we do Warrior Hearts in a bunch of different locations. Doug, who's kind of like one of the godfathers of Warrior, been in the message since it started, whole thing. I said, Doug, come down to this event at Lost Canyon. So
Yep.
I Doug come down.
He
And-
slept in my bunk, I think.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he was
sick.
right next to me. I
So
heard him
shout out to
snoring.
Dougie Fresh. But so I was like, Doug, just come participate in this one. You know, don't be on staff work. Just come as a participant. He's like, okay, I totally will. We're at lunch the first day. And I'm like, Doug, what do you think? He's like, this is the Disneyland of boot camps.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
Yeah.
so
That's a
I
good
walk
way to
in,
word
there's
it.
like super, and the beds are comfortable. I want to name that as another outside
Mhm.
experience. So,
Well, and along with that, so all the bedding is provided. You're sleeping in these beautiful, what do you call them, dorms, homes?
They kind of
Bunker.
have like a townhousey kind of feel, or like a condo-y kind of feel, the way that they're
with
like
a little
structured and
sprinkle of
stuff.
cabin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
And so
sprinkle
all
of
the
cabin.
bedding is provided, the sheets, the pillows, the blanket. Of course, you can bring anything else you want to bring. There are plugs in all the places. So all the people, if they have CPAP machines or anything like that,
Sleep app, my
plenty.
watch, whatever the thing.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about as good as you can get as far as facilities go.
That's
I'll stand
okay.
by that.
How long is it?
So it is 3 days. We are doing it March 31st, 2025, going to April 2nd. That's a Monday through Wednesday. There is the, what do you call it, opportunity that if you are traveling and you need to come in on Sunday night, you're able to arrive Sunday night around 8 p.m. and you can stay Wednesday night and leave by 8 a.m.
It's
Thursday
an
morning.
8-hour drive
So-
from Salt Lake, just speaking from
Yes.
experience.
Depending on who's
Yeah.
driving.
That's
Accurate.
fair.
And how many stops?
Accurate.
Right.
Okay, how much does it cost?
It is $695,
Okay.
and that covers everything you can think of.
Okay. And who's going to be there? Is this
Jayne.
All of
I
us.
know you are.
Tricia.
Hey, Beckie raises her hand like,
I'll be there.
I'm going. No. So because what I want to know
Because I kind of
is-
want to come, but I know I
No,
can't.
you
so.
can't go.
You're so invited to volunteer. We already
Yeah,
talked
you
about
can
it.
volunteer.
I'm coming.
And
For sure.
so who's here? Who's here? Because I want, like, if someone were to ask who's coming to Warrior Heart, like I can tell you showing up to Warrior Heart, right? If someone would be like, who's coming to your Hawaii workshop program for therapy? I'm like, I can tell you who's coming to Hawaii. So tell me, is this all older women? Is this a bunch of women who are all in crisis and their life is melting down? Is this super churchy women? Is this anti-churchy women? Is this all the hippie yoga people? Like who's? Well, I'm just speaking from if I'm some woman coming to listen to this podcast, I'm like, I don't know who I'm showing up to. I'm showing up to this thing like, is this some freaking cult or MLM or, you know?
To me, the way that I would name that is you are going to be walking into a journey with seekers. Like that would be the best way that I would describe who's coming to this. This is people who are seeking. This is people who are seeking for deeper connection. This is people who are seeking for God. This is people who are seeking for answers. So yeah, there's a variety of different ages that come. There's a variety of different people on different paths that come. But a common denominator, in my opinion, in interacting in these spaces is these are people who are seeking, truly seeking, and there's just this authenticity that comes with folks that are connecting to glory that feels kind of unique.
Yeah, and I think it's for all women, young women, old women, women who are betrayed, women who aren't betrayed.
Older than 18, right? So
Older
sorry,
than
Yes,
because when we
18,
say
yeah.
young women, this is not for the youth.
I guess not. No, not
Right?
for youth. Yeah.
What do you have against
Correct.
young people, James?
Well, my name's Steve, but since you're so senile in your old age, my young friend Sam, yeah.
That's okay, because the question was a very James, like his
Oh,
response
that's
was a very
funny.
James-like response, so that's fine. That tracks.
Pretty sure Steve 1, Sam 0. We'll see how the rest of the
Hey,
episode
we're-
goes. So,
Yeah.
but
But no, you're getting women, you're getting moms, you're getting daughters, you're getting sisters, you're getting friends. Just like Beckie said, the seekers, people who are on this journey that just want more.
singled, married,
Yes.
Yep.
divorced,
Both. Yeah.
Yes.
all
Yep.
of the above.
And
all
even
the
if
above.
you don't,
Going through
yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
I think people who are seeking, and I think people who might not even know that they're seeking, or if you don't want to seek, still come.
Mhm.
To me, it kind of what I've noticed in what women have said that have attended these kinds of things, right, is there's a pull, there's a draw. They can't really explain it sometimes, but it's like, I don't know, I felt this pull or this draw, or like, maybe that's something I should try on, right? And to me, that's like at the core sometimes of seekers. They don't really even know what they're seeking. They just know that they are.
So a lot of women on their own individual journeys, you would say.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I guess so those are kind of some of the logistics things. The food's good. The venue's beautiful. It's not weird.
Wait. Go back to the food.
The food's good.
The food is
The food's
phenomenal.
amazing.
There's private chefs back there creating what we want.
I'm gonna say you're one rung up from an average church food experience. That's what I'm gonna say.
One?
If an average church food experience is a 3 to 5 on the 1 to 10, I'm
So
saying this is
people
a
bring in
solid 7 or 8.
potluck. This is
7 or
only
8.
one ring up. Wait. Now
I used the number scale.
We're talking to the man who chose mac and cheese and chicken nuggets.
And chicken
I
freaking
did not
nuggets.
choose mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. That's what they do. A lot of kids camps in
This
the
is
summer.
not
It was
a chili
confusing.
cook-off.
Okay, they'll do a better.
We are
menu.
not having that.
There will not
Anyways,
be mac and cheese.
no, but the
or
stuff.
chicken nuggets.
What I would say is, no matter your socioeconomic status or life experience, it will be a comfortable, good experience. Is that a fair way to say it?
Something I think is also fair,
Just because that matters to people. I'm
Yes, it
being
does
real.
matter.
If I'm
Yeah.
picking a retreat
Yeah.
around, I'm like, what does this place look like? What does the food look like? That's a thing.
I think you asked Steve, like, what would create anxiety for people. I know for myself, having celiac disease, like, a lot of anxiety is created around food for me and how I'm going to eat. What I have loved about Lost Ken, because I've been there a few times, right? And they can accommodate whatever allergy is brought in on a food level. So as long as that's named prior to, they can absolutely accommodate that. I think the other thing to be aware of is there's like cement paths. And so like if there's issue with being able to walk or things like that, that can also be
Stairs or whatever
accommodated.
that can be accommodated.
Yep, there's plenty of spaces for people to sit down and all that kind of stuff. So those anxieties that sometimes when you have physical stuff going on, you're like, are they going to be able to accommodate me? Lost Ken can absolutely accommodate all of those things.
So what if I'm anxious? What if I'm anxious about the money? Right? Do you guys do scholarships in the same way that we would see at a Warrior Heart?
The scholarships are available through UU. You can contact them for that. We
Oh wait, that's us.
That's us. Oh wait. I see the question because I knew the answer.
We're also offering a promo for 2 weeks when this airs.
Oh, really?
If you use the code GLORY95, you're getting $95 off.
That's GLORY95.
Glorious.
So, but also we want everyone to have a chance to go, no matter what. So if there is something else that you're concerned about financially, just email us at thegloryretreat@gmail.com, and we'd love to figure out a way. We offer no interest payment plans. So 3 payments can be made. So
wow,
we want everyone to have an opportunity to come.
So love that, because we scholarship and we're going to scholarship this, and we're always looking. So here's the question I want to ask: why am I coming to this if I'm a betrayed spouse? Like, because that it's a hard. I'm just looking at one of the things I recently thought about in Kayla's recovery was Kayla started recovery when she had a 4-month-old baby, and I just had some experiences recently that I'm like, oh, that's hard.
That's lonely.
To like have a little baby and be doing recovery. I'm like, that's a lot of emotional bandwidth required. And so I know we've had a lot of women on the show talk about it feels really overwhelming and it feels big. And so why if I'm a woman who is already drowning, already feels there's a ton of things I should be doing that I'm not doing, already feels like there's not enough time in the day, why am I doing this? I mean, that's not, I'm not trying to be contrary. I'm obviously, we're obviously pro, we're having this podcast because we're all about promoting this, but like, cut the, and I know the three of you well enough, because it's good for you and community guy, like skip the surface right answers and tell me, like, why am I coming to this? Out of all the things, why don't I just keep going to my meetings or seeing my therapist, or why don't I do my church thing, or like, why is this the experience that I should sacrifice the time and money to show up to? Tricia, hit us with it.
So for me, I think when I was just drowning and everything was so overwhelming, if I had that opportunity to kind of step back and just take a breath and have just a few moments for me to just reconnect with who I am, because I felt I lost sight of who I was. I didn't know I didn't know who I was. Um, but being able to step back, take a breather, reconnect with God, and other women who have walked in that journey. And I think for me, it seemed like every relationship that I kind of had, it was either on the shallow level where we didn't really talk about real things, or it was the recovery women where those relationships were just kept, because they were anonymous, kept to the recovery rooms.
Mm.
So it didn't necessarily bleed over into like my day to day life. I didn't really have a whole lot of people just to call and be like, hey, let's go to lunch, let's do this. Or even just to kind of step into and shed light on it and make it, just because I was struggling with something hard, that it's normal. I don't have to be ashamed of what I'm struggling with. So I think just for somebody who's struggling as a betrayed wife, to be able just to go and connect and know that there's other people who have gone through hard things too. And we're not there to share our story or to just to like throw out, this is all that we've done, all that we've experienced, but just to know that there's other people who are willing to talk about their hard experiences, and to connect on, a level that we've done we've done hard things, but there's hope on the other side of those hard things.
There's three parts that we kind of want to focus on, and that's the real God, the real you, and your real story. Tricia, do you want to speak more into those?
So yeah, so
Well, I'm
kind of
not letting Jayne off the hook that easy. Just
No.
catching it and passing her back. No, Jayne, give me a reason
No,
to come to this. I'm a woman who's sitting in Arizona, Utah, I don't care, Florida. Why, out of all the things going on, why am I coming to this?
because we're real. You're going to connect with us authentically. You're going to feel our love. You're going to feel that we want you to have a real community, and we're going to help you create that or start that.
Beckie?
You're going to experience clarity when you come, which I know for me, when the house burned down and I'm standing in ashes with 3 kids, and I own a business, and I'm on the PTA, and I'm serving deep in my church community and all of that, like, I couldn't breathe, and I didn't have clarity, and I feel connected to God, and things were really quiet, right? And so whether it's clarity in the community that you have, whether it's clarity in your relationship with God, whether it's clarity in your marital relationship or not, like, for me, there was just this quiet. And any of y'all who know me, like, I don't do quiet well. I don't do slow well. I get really mad about it before I get humble about it. And having 3 days of being completely unplugged, not having anything else to look at, focus on, distract me from, that offers some real clarity in how to move forward, what the next step was and what the next step is. And so I think that for me, that is one of the primary reasons to seek it out in the moments of when you're like, I don't know which way is up. It can help you orient yourself in the real you, in the real God, in your real story, so that you know where to go next.
And one question I want to ask, because and I don't think we have to echo like, hey, those were some real answers. Like, if you didn't feel those were real answers, I don't know what else to
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
felt that.
But I guess the other question I want to ask is, if I show up to the Glory Retreat, do I get to spend time with the three of you? And I'm not asking that in a weird, like, are you going to sign my T-shirt way?
We're not going to be Big Spoon, Little Spoon. We're not playing that game. You're not going to be able to connect with us in that way.
Will you
So
sign
either
my
end of the
t-shirt, though?
spectrum, from signing the T-shirt to
I
being
would
a total
totally sign your
groupie.
shirt.
I know
Okay,
you will.
never mind. Tricia will sign the shirt.
Just kidding. No, I
Um,
won't. I don't.
But I guess, because my question is like, is this like, I show up to this thing and I'm one of 100 different women there, and I'm kind of just in the crowd and whatever? Or do I get to show up, and as I'm listening to these women on this podcast, do I get to have an experience with these women?
If you want one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Where I'm super looking forward to adventure, where yes, I will be there with you in adventure, which we're super excited to have. Can I say who's going to be over adventure?
Yes.
Okay, we're super excited to have Steve's wife Kayla be over adventure for us.
Which Kayla's a party, if you don't know.
She is a party,
She
and
is
so
a party.
and some of the adventure stuff that they have there, we're going to have yoga, we're going to have meditation. They have an indoor gym. We'll be playing pickleball. We want to do basketball. They have a game room with pool and ping pong, hiking. They have a giant swing. They have a climbing wall. There's a
And
hot
it's a
tub.
giant swing. I just want to. This ain't your backyard nostalgia little kid swing. This is 45 feet in the
They also have beds for naps.
Yes. I will not be doing big spoon, small spoon.
Becky keeps coming back to that. There's something going on.
Y'all.
Yes, but
I
no,
always
you'll
like
get
to be
to
the littler spoon.
you'll
But-
get to interact with us all week long, during adventure, during
Yes.
mealtime, during
Meals.
prayer time, during downtime, during worship music. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of the creating the community. You know, I don't think it's us saying, "Hey, you guys create community." I want to be a part of that community. I want to hear stories. I want to pray with you. I want to be with you and spend time and get to know the people that are sacrificing their time and money to come and spend time with us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing is, if we could summarize this retreat, and I don't know if you guys do you like that word retreat? Because the guys are like, no, it's boot camp. It's boot camp. You know what I mean? So if I could
Even though we all
summarize this,
still call it the Warrior Heart Retreat all the time, but
I
anyways.
know.
I think experiencing it at Lost Canyon, it definitely feels like a retreat.
Right.
It is.
So
It is.
so if I could summarize that in one word, though, I think what you guys are saying is this is the most real thing that you will experience. It is just real.
Mhm.
The real you, the real God, your real story. Is that how you said it?
Yep.
I like that.
Well, and I guess the question I want to ask is, you brought up, like, a biblically based, this is a Jesus thing, this is a Christ-centered thing going. But if I'm someone who's experienced any level of recovery, I'm like, there's kind of just the pool of information, right? And so is this just another, recycled water tap where I'm showing up and I'm hearing all the same things? Because that's one thing I feel like we haven't gotten to this episode is, you talked about it being kind of experiential, which, like I say, translated to street. Okay, it's not boring, I guess. They're saying it's not going to be boring. So, but is this just the same information I've heard everywhere else? Is this just the same recycle of let go, let God, be forgiving? I'm just saying, if I'm a betrayed spouse listening, like, be forgiving, actually do your self-care. Is this just kind of the same thing I'm hearing everywhere else?
To me, this is a level up. You've heard that. Like, if you want that and you need that, like, my suggestion would be to connect to church.
And if
Connect
that
to
works for
podcast.
you,
Yeah, connect to a podcast, connect to a book or whatever. This situation is more like, okay, one, how do I apply all of the stuff that I'm learning in recovery? Two, like, where are the corners that I'm not looking in these other spaces? Where are the places that I actually haven't gone yet that I still need to go? Because something's up and something's off, and I'm feeling like I'm stuck, or I'm feeling like I've plateaued, or I'm feeling like, no, everything's peachy keen. But like, where are those nooks and crannies? And in these presentations, you're going to have an invitation to start looking in the dark and to start looking into those nooks and crannies and to start getting curious about that at whatever level you're at, right? So it is different. It's unique in that space. And again, we hope to supplement the things. We hope to not replace the things. But I know I'm not putting in all this time and effort in co-creating this with Tricia and Jayne and God to just give you one and the same, because it's certainly not what I need in my life. It's certainly not what I want in my life. And if I'm sacrificing going away from my kids for that long, I'm sacrificing that kind of money, I absolutely am going to need something different, not just a different flavor, but a different kind of dessert, right?
Well, and I think it's different because it's not recovery. It's more than recovery. It's not just for betrayed spouses. It's for all women
All
who've
women, yeah.
experienced. Yeah.
Jayne,
Trisha
anything
has
to
a
add?
No, I was gonna say Trisha has a beautiful way when she tells people about it. I'm like,
So
go
when we
for
were
it.
talking earlier, just how I explain it is our retreat is about, it's a glory retreat. It's about the real God, the real you, your real story. So we're talking about the real God. Who is God to you, and what's your relationship with Him? The real you. Um, who are you authentically, and how do you show up in those relationships as your true authentic self? And then your real story. We all have story, we all have wounding, and where do we go to find healing from that wounding? And that's kind of in a nutshell what our retreat is about.
Yeah, and I since y'all are so unwilling to do some humble brag, I guess I'll humble brag on you. Um these are three women who facilitate some incredibly dynamic experiences. So these are women who work professionally in facilitating therapeutic intensive, group long intensive workshops, experiences that are reasonably dynamic at a high level. I think the highest levels that I think happen in the therapeutic space, to my knowledge, which is limited, but I would say reasonably vast. And Tricia's experience in public speaking and sharing at churches and running meetings and doing so. I think I want to name this isn't just sisterhood of the traveling pants, three girls who just like hanging out with folks and want to get up on stage and name some stuff. So one of the things that happens in the back rooms of our accepted office is accepted backs this and is in it and support and all the things is I've watched these three women resource in so many different ways of putting this together and bringing in different dynamic aspects, not just their own thoughts because they feel like it. So I think there's a ton kind of going into this.
I also think it's really cool to just to think about, these are, you guys are three people who have been through some really, really, really difficult things in your life. And you're coming at this with the perspective of, this is the resource that I wish I would have had when I was healing in the beginning. This is the thing that I wish I would have known, the resource that I wish I would have had to help me heal the pain when I didn't know where else to go. I think a lot of women struggle with that. They're like, okay, my life just blew apart. And Grant, like you said, right, this is not only for betrayed women, but whatever the pain is in your life, right? This is a resource. It's battle tested principles that you can go to start healing.
Well, and
I
I'll
love
back
that.
what you're saying, Sam. Is I personally I can say for two of these three women, and and Trish and I being the third, have talked a lot about your experience, and I know your boy well, and but I mean, all experiencing the things, and so not a perfect walk. I'm close enough to y'all to know, like, there's no ivory tower, like talking down to like we've arrived at. Tricia, you said at the beginning of the episode, but not that. But I'll offer the humble brag of y'all climb some mountains. I witnessed. I've been on the slope next to you. That I knew Beckie pre-divorce and getting divorced and post-divorced, right? Like I knew Jayne in infancy of her recovery and to all the way into her professional career and have known Tricia for a long time. And Corey's been on the Unashamed team for a long time. It's okay. And so I just want to say, in the realness, just backing up what Sam said, I've witnessed the three of you really doing the thing. And I think there's an authenticity. And I'm going to say the inside thing that I think is one of the most interesting things about the retreat, frankly, and why I think people should come this spring. How many of these have you guys done? I'm not talking about your one-day pop-up. Zero. This is the first one. And there's something that is beautiful and authentic and dynamic about that first time that first experience and that pioneering. So they don't have 50 women coming to this who have been to it before. Do you know what I would give to have been at the first boot camp? Chris is sitting back here. Screw you, Chris, for being at the first boot camp.
You were the first Chris? What?
He's the whole bro. You think he's some scrub?
Jeez, dude.
So I'm just saying, I think there is a unique opportunity here to be a part of something from a day. This is a pioneering, a larger story experience. This has cost the three of you something personally to put this together. So there is a vulnerability that you guys are putting forward of like building community, doing the thing. This is not, hey, kind of jump on this bandwagon. There is not a single woman who is showing up to this that has been to it before.
Yeah.
So I think there's a unique opportunity here to come and experience something new. Because I'll already tell you, this Glory Retreat is going to be happening for a long time. And so we'll be back on this show 10 years from now when it's like, oh yeah, we've been doing this X long and do it right, whatever. But I think there's a unique opportunity to show up. So that's the part that hasn't been said.
It's as real as it gets.
That's as real as it gets, man. This is from the ground. This is day one.
Well, and one of the cool aspects of it that I've seen, Steve, and this is where I feel like I will brag, is that as we've stepped in it, as we've created this from the ground up, to see God's hand in this, the miracles that have happened are just like overwhelming. Like I know this is exactly what God wants me to do. And the women that I'm doing this, Jayne and Beckie, I couldn't ask for better women. But just to see how God has been with us every step of the way, and just the miracles that we've seen as we've gone, and the lives that it's already changed just within our small sphere is just, it's amazing. So I'm just so grateful to see and to know that what we're doing is what God is wanting us to do.
So what glory stands for again, Jayne?
God's love opens the real you.
And the three things you're going to experience, Tricia, at this retreat:
the real God, the real you, and your real story.
And Beckie, give me one reason to come.
To connect with God.
For real. For real. Amen?
I'm going to give an amen to that.
So where do I sign up?
thegloryretreat.com.
thegloryretreat.com. I'm assuming
or you can say
thegloryretreat.com.
.com.
You have to say it in that voice.
So with all that, if I want to know more about it, if I want to have a conversation, I can send an email to that email on the website. We'll put it in the show notes, and I can have a conversation with one of the three women I'm talking to right now.
Accurate.
So when I'm freaked out or need a scholarship, or I'm coming alone and I'm coming from, flying across the country or out of state or whatever, and I'm not sure how to do that, I send that email. One of you is responding to me.
Correct.
Accurate.
It's a cool experience. I'm all about it. So I invite you to go to thegloryretreat.com, check it out. Be there. Like Sam, I will not be there unless in a volunteer capacity, which is probably not likely because Kayla's going to be down there doing adventure, in which I will then probably be with my children. So,
which is an adventure too.
Oh, we party. Yeah, there's a reason it's called Party Shields. So that's going to be the thing happening. So again, Glory95. If you're listening from this episode, that's going to give you $95 off. So I invite you to go take some women with you. Just having experience going to retreat, it is always more fun to take the sisters, the friends, and have that experience together. And you get to be a day one, which is going to be a unique experience and amazing.
It's going to be
So
special.
invite you to continue to show up here. So invite you to follow us on social media at Unashamed and Afraid. Go to the website unashamedandafraid.com to donate, become an outsider, join us in helping us with the movement. And also, if you need a scholarship to go to something like, I don't know, the Glory Retreat, that's where you can go on unashamedandafraid.com/scholarships in order to get a scholarship to this very event. And give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen, to help us get this message of hope out there so that we can glorify God. See what I did there, Sam?
I see what you did there, Steve.
And until we're able to connect again, invite all of you to continue to be unashamed.